All right, you heard a lot about what we did with the 24 campaign last night and how successful that was. But now, and Dave's going to talk a little bit about our accomplishments, but then he's going to get into what we're doing in 25. So over to Dave Bowman.
All right. All right, thank you, Andy. Good afternoon, everyone. What a great day to be here in Rock Hill. Full day, steam's running. And I'm pleased to be here and talk about our 2025 campaign. But as Andy said, we'll start by looking at our 24 campaign and the great year we had. So from a campaign and fundraising perspective, what an amazing year. Right? Exceeded all of our expectations. You may recall a year ago, I stood here and announced the 24 campaign with an initial goal of $220,000 to fund the March to Saltillo, the Archives Project, Saltillo Station, Engine 15's tender, and start planning on the Robertsdale Engine House. By March 12th, we had met that goal already, and at that point, we announced that all subsequent donations to the 24 campaign would be devoted to track materials for the March to Saltillo. Fast forward to now, here we are a year later, the 24 campaign results as of a day or two ago, we're at $361,496 in 1,406 individual donations. So just blew away both previous years. We recall last year we were finished at 270,000. Just totally exceeded anything that we've done before. So unprecedented results. If you do the math, 361, take away the 220 goal, that means we were able to contribute another 141,000 to the March to Saltillo since March 12th, all of which is going to fund the track materials to keep that going. So, start off with thank all of our donors and supporters for that amazing support. Like I said, it's just a fantastic year, and obviously couldn't do it without all of your generosity, and so thank you again. And it's made amazing things happen, right? If you walk around, you look here, you read the newsletter, Timber Transfer, the accomplishments are many, and things that we just wouldn't even have dreamed that were possible just a few years ago. So we'll walk through the 24 accomplishments before we get into the 25. First, we have to start with March to Saltillo. What an amazing year overall. And again, from a campaign and fundraising perspective, this has been tremendous. We've been able to contribute over 160,000 of track materials to keep Gene and Henry and the teams busy and stocked with materials so that they never had to slow down for lack of materials. It was really a cool thing to watch because the donations would come in, we were able to buy materials, the track crews would install it, we would publicize it, more donations come in, and we just kept this cycle going. And I think it's a perfect model, and that's really what we want to maintain. But just some of the accomplishments that between the donations and the dedication of the track crews were able to accomplish. And over 7,200 feet of track was restored a year ago. This in-service track ended at Oddfellow Cemetery Road Crossing. Now the in-service track ends at Jordan Summit, and there's thousands of feet of assembled track beyond that will be completed before the end of the year. In doing that, the team crews have installed over 3,500 ties, over 16,000 spikes and driven. So far have installed over 75 truckloads of ballast, and many more truckloads to be installed through the rest of the year. And was talked about earlier, completed both the Route 475 and McCoy Road crossings, which I think kind of demonstrate everybody that the railroad and the Friends know how to do that, and also collectively let the team learn what the process really was, and that now they can replicate it in future crossings. So just a ton of amazing accomplishments on the March to Saltillo this year. Next up, the next project we funded was Archives. And they just continue to do amazing work. And hopefully you were able to go over to the baggage room and see some of the recent finds in the archives that Julie and team have been able to do. Some key highlights for this year. They added the first installments of the EBT corporate minute books, which have amazing detailed information about how the leadership of the railroad thought and acted over the historical years. And also ICC valuation field notes, which again have incredible detail about everything about the physical makeup of the railroad back in these are from the 20s. Just incredible stuff that are now available online, and you could spend hours and hours pouring through some of that stuff. And they've also put hundreds of additional photos, drawings, maps online, scanned and made available online, all of which you can see at the archive site, including 33 new collections of material. They've now in total have 5,678 maps and drawings have been inventoried, and with over 443 of those available online publicly that you can go find. And if you listen to Ron and Rick talk, and Vagel talk, we're just discovering things that no one ever knew about the early years of the railroad from those materials, and said much of that is out there for you to enjoy. And in total this year, the archives team added over 1,249 entries to the online site that's available for everyone to take advantage of. And point out that all of this work is funded by the FEBT campaign. So all of this is made possible by your donations and your generosity. Saltillo Station, we announced last year that we wanted to move forward with the construction of a replica Saltillo Station. Unlike track, the progress here has been less visible, but we've made great strides getting ready to execute this program. John Bowie, who is our member and architect on the project, finished in the first quarter, completed all of the detailed architectural drawings that are needed to build the building. We then had a series of planning meetings with John and the foundation and the FEBT members to plan out the project, and then James went out to bid with building contractors to get bids to actually construct the building. And we're now at the evaluation phase. We've received the bid response back, and we're reviewing that to prepare to move forward with bid placement. We'll talk about where we're going to go in 25 with that. Brad pretty much covered this slide. You may recall part of the 24 campaign was $50,000 to construct a new tender tank for 15. Really, it was the first big effort in 15's restoration. As Brad said earlier in the year, the contract was placed with Curry. Made a down payment to them. That Dave and Ken's team have stripped the tender, and it's ready to go. And so hopefully soon, when the team gets a break, the old tank will go there, and Curry will begin construction of the new tank. So that should be progress we anticipate will happen fairly soon, and be a nice visible step forward on 15's project. And then Robertsdale, lots of good things happened in Robertsdale, supported by the 24 and prior year campaign donations. If you were there yesterday, you saw a lot of that. The new hard surface walking path, first phase of multi-phase project was completed this year. Great addition to the facility there. The new interpretive signs, which are out here, were also shown in their place up there, have been designed and will be manufactured and permanently installed soon. Some great work clearing the right-of-way north of the depot, so we can have access to areas that we haven't been able to do in the past. And then last I talked about, you may recall or I mentioned before, one of the projects we started last year was the initial steps to rebuild the Robertsdale engine house. Made some good progress this year. We've have a FEBT and a different FEBT member and architect that has agreed to lead that project. You can see some of his 3D renderings there on the page. And we've had initial meetings, kickoff meetings with the architect and the foundation and the friends to kind of map out the next steps in that project. So I think this year will be continued preparation and planning for that project to prepare to move into the next steps in subsequent years. And then Rock Hill Furnace, lots of good things. Hopefully, as Andy said, you had a chance to walk around during the open house. If not, I hope you can do it tomorrow and see some of the great progress that's been made this year here. Again, the car shop, lots of good progress there. The north end doors were completely rebuilt and finished. As part of the car shop also received a new wood floor, and the 2-foot gauge transfer track was rebuilt from the north end all the way out to the lumber shed. Pretty cool. Combine 14 and Boxcar 174 have received a lot of work this year and are really moving into the final phases of multi-year restorations on both of those. So really getting near the end on both of those. Storehouse 1, which is a project I've personally led, basically completed this year. So take a look at that and are ready to move on to the next storehouse. And really fully funded by campaign donations, we were able to replace roofs on the machine and car shops that basically completed the replacement of all of the roofs on the main shop complex building. From a key thing to maintain these historic buildings for generations to come. Having a sound roof is really where it starts. Okay, so that's 24. Like I said, I think an amazing year, both for fundraising and accomplishments and how the two, drive each other. Now looking ahead, really we're demonstrated some great momentum and enthusiasm, and we want to keep that going. And so we're excited to see where we can take this next year. So we'll march through that. So again, we'll start with the March to Saltillo. We want to be able to keep feeding Gene and the team with materials so that they can keep building track at the pace they've been at. Gene tells me they expect to be at the 994 crossing by the end of this year. So the expectation they'll move across 994 and start working south from there. And the campaign intends to provide them with the track materials, ties, spikes, plates, ballast that they'll need to keep the march going towards Saltillo. So in the initial plan, we're seeking 75,000 in the 25 campaign to continue to support that. Saltillo Station, we talked about where we were in the process. We now would like to proceed with contract placement and actual construction of the building. But when we received the bids back, the cost to do the building were a bit more than we had initially planned. I think largely due to the complexity and cost of faithfully recreating all of the historic details, which John's design does. And so to cover that, we've included another 50,000 in the 25 campaign, which we now know or believe will be sufficient to allow us to cover the cost of the construction of the exterior of the building, which is what we plan to do. We hope to start construction in 2025, and there's every chance that exterior construction can be completed next year. Things go to plan. Rock Hill Furnace, more to do. There's lots of the buildings are in good shape and best shape they've been in many years, but there's still buildings to do, particularly Storehouse 2. We'd like to begin the restoration project on, and the pattern shop, the two pictures I have there, both buildings that are suffering the typical EBT building disease of rotting at the ground and slowly sinking. We know how to fix those. It'll be largely volunteer effort, but, it'll be a considerable amount of materials and some contractor work to address those. We want to continue our roof replacement campaign funded by the 25 campaign. So we've done good work to get the major shop buildings, machine shop, weld shop, car shop, but all of the other buildings still have roofs that are well past their service lives, and we want to just keep each year biting off another piece and keep installing the roofs. We anticipate that when 14 rolls out next year, that there'll be another car to roll in, and details TBD, but certainly that will take some materials and funding to support. So part of this will also provide funding for that. Then archives, we of course want to continue, and we'll continue to support all the great work that archives have. I think it's from some of the numbers, right, there's 5,000 odd maps and drawings in the collection, 400 of which are available online. So, in many ways, the team has just scratched the surface of the work that we'd like to accomplish with the archives. We want to continue to strongly support that effort. I think some of the things on deck, placing additional EBT and Recular and coal company maps, drawings, corporate records that are in the depot, and continue to make accessible pre-56 photos from some of the really good FEBT collections. And we plan to contribute $90,000 from the 25 campaign to enable this work. This is really, the 24 campaign included 70, but we contributed 20, FEBT contributed 20 this year from prior campaigns. So this is really flat to the amount of funding that we contributed in 24. So we want to just continue that effort. And then lastly, we want to continue to help the foundation with Engine 15, get it back to operation. And so we're kind of looking for discrete work packages that we can fund and support. So the one we chose this year is to help support the rebuilding of 15's trailing truck, which needs a complete rebuild. So the campaign will contribute $15,000 towards that effort to continue to help move 15 along. So that's the project. So in total, that adds up to $270,000, $50,000 more than last year's goal. You can see the individual breakdowns. Say, if we again are able to exceed our goal, we anticipate the additional funds will be used to accelerate selected targeted projects like the March to Saltillo, perhaps some other specific targeted projects. So again, we ask all of our donors and supporters to help support the 2025 campaign to turn all of these projects into reality. So next year, these will be not projects but accomplishments that we'll talk about. I was saying how to donate. So the campaign began October 1st. It will run to September 30th of next year. You can donate, of course, online, credit card and PayPal accepted at the company store, address you see there. You can also send check or money order to my lovely fundraising treasurer, my wife Karen, at the address there. And by the way, she's here on site and is accepting donations while she's here. And of course, we're a 501c3 organization, and donations are tax deductible in the U.S. Andy, that's what I got.
Awesome.